Alright, welcome to Pipeland class, my personal favorite world in the Super Mario Bros. 3 walkthrough, right here on Video Games 101. We should have our special guest TA Mario back before too long, because, let's be honest, that man is drawn to pipe like a moth to a flame. And before you take that out of context, here's Fluff with a Fluff fact I'm told about Pipeland. Fluff?
Notice anything about the shape of World 7's islands, Professor?
I don't know, let me pull it up real quick. My god, they're little castles.
No, they're pipes, because it's, Pipeland.
Oh, of course. Excellent work as always, Fluff. Thank you. That'll be all for now. Anyway, if you get enough juice, there's a 1-up hidden up here. Assuming you have wings at this point, by which, of course, I always mean a tail. Be careful. Hit the wrong pipe and you'll get knocked back down a ways. The block to the right of these contains a 1-up. It's a little tricky to get to. I can assume it's probably going to fall to the left if you get far enough to hit it on the right, but I'm assuming at this point in the game, if you've been following along with this Super Mario Bros. 3 walkthrough, that you probably don't need extra lives at this point. So, if you do have wings, you can wrap around to use that as runway and get to this coin area right here. Take this pipe, and it'll shoot you right out the top here. There's one more hidden 1-up just above here. Use the small bit of clearance that you have to take care of these Koopa Troopas. And there we go. You can plan that out very well. And it's right if you jump off of this Koopa Troopa and go straight up, get that 1-up. And we'll chase after it. Why not? Why not at this point? And then again, any excuse to fly. Just like that, 7-1 in the books. Can we get one last? Nope. I knew that was, the timing was a little bit off when I came in with a full P meter and then, well, you saw what happened. Anyway. And thankfully we don't have to backtrack to go to that other pipe. The one we want is right here. There are quite a few pipes. If you take that one, it'll spit you out at a locked gate. So, if we take this pipe on the right, though, this will take us to an item house with your standard mushroom, fire flower, and super leaf combo. Third box, always a lock, even in Pipeland? Nope. You don't really have anyone on staff to crunch the numbers. I want to say maybe about 50% of the time that third pipe is paid out with the item that we want. So with a 1 in 3 chance, if you can average 50%, I'd say that's pretty good. This is the final white mushroom house level of the game, and you need to have a frog suit equipped to get all the coins that you need. The coin total is 46 for this stage, and you'll see why you need to have the frog suit in just a second. Go through this pipe after you take care of that plant. Grab all of these coins before you hit the P-switch, and then swim as quickly as you can. Again, only Frog Mario can handle himself like this quickly enough in the water to collect all the coins that you need to hit that 46. There we go. At this point, go up this pipe here, or go to the right to the next one. If you go up this pipe, then hop over to the right here and drop down. We're going to need to hit a bunch of these note blocks here to create a bridge for ourselves so we can actually cross this. Otherwise we will fall through like we just did. And if you want to get rid of your frog suit as desperately as I do right here, then you can grab yourself a super leaf and then head back up. Can't get up here, the entire ceiling is lined with these note blocks, but we'll retreat back into this pipe and then go into this one again here. And we can go to the right this time without worry of falling through. Almost. The 1-up right there, but it's going to drop in. Just wanted to point that out. There's a fire flower down below if you go through one of these pipes. But, yeah, we're just gonna power through this at this point. A little dangerous. This is the exit pipe right here. We should have enough coins to activate the white mushroom house and get that final P-Wing. But yeah, that's a pretty solid trade in my book. A frog suit for a P-Wing. I'll take that trade every single time. And there it is. We don't even have to really go out of our way to get to it. And while we're grabbing this and moving forward, let's go to Fluff for some facts about the movie this game is inextricably linked to, The Wizard.
I mentioned earlier how Mario 3 was heavily featured in the ending of the 1989 film The Wizard, which saw Fred Savage and Jenny Lewis take his PTSD-stricken little brother across the country to compete in a Nintendo video game tournament in California.
California.
Thanks, Jimmy. Fred Savage does this after discovering his little brother's phenom-level ability to kick butt at Nintendo games. Inspired by the film Tommy, which told the story of a pinball wizard, get it? Tom Polak of Universal Studios approached Nintendo's marketing department in 1989 with the idea of making a modern video game version of Tommy for younger audiences. Nintendo licensed its products, including the infamous Power Glove, for use in the film, and the filmmakers had to get approval from Nintendo regarding the script and portrayal of its products in the film. The film culminates with the aforementioned video game tournament, which heavily features Super Mario Bros. 3. Despite poor ratings from critics who dismissed the movie as a cheesy and massive Nintendo product endorsement, which basically it was, the film earned a cult following, particularly from the kids of the 80s and 90s. IGN has since referred to the film as essentially a 90-minute commercial for Super Mario Bros. 3, and it played a big role in its marketing as the film was released in December 1989, just 2 months before Super Mario Bros. 3 hit the shelves in the US.
Thank you, Fluff. Yeah, you mentioned holds a special place in the hearts of the kids of the 80s and the 90s. I always have a soft spot for it. I've watched it a few times over the last, probably 15 years. It's alright, you know? You have to take off the blinders a little bit, but there is a charm to it. My most recent memory was when my brother was home visiting, got the family together, and for whatever reason, my brother insisted that we all watch it, even with our parents, and my only memory of this was my dad whispering to my mom, loud enough so that I could hear it, whether he meant to or not. Why are we watching this? Never forget that. But anyway, mine the Gelectro field, my favorite, probably named enemies from this game. What do you get when you mix jellyfish and electrocution, Gelectro? There you go. Sometimes the names they're right there for you. They're just sitting there in front of you, waiting to be grasped. As was the case with Gelectro, I assume. These are lava lotuses. They shoot out these little spores-looking things. Nice being around the fish, though, the boss bass, the Cheep Cheeps of different colors. They come in all different colors, the Cheep Cheeps, and just being able to roast them with our fire flour. There it is. Might be the last one we get in this game, I don't know. Really doesn't matter, but love that sound. I will say that. And sorry not to linger on this. Fluff already mentioned pretty much everything we need to hear about the Wizard for the rest of this class, but not to poke holes in a shoddy at best movie from 1989, but Jimmy ended up getting a lot of points, enough to win the competition. Sorry, spoiler alert for a film that's over 30 years old, there at the end, by using warp whistles, when you don't get any points from using warp whistles. I can confirm that. We tested it ourselves. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is kind of a tricky level to get through. There's a very specific route you need to take here. A lot of locked off, invisibly locked off ways to go. Just follow along here. As you can see right there, you bash that and create a ceiling, or a floor, depending on which side you're on. Pop up here, grab yourself a 1-up. It should go to the left there, into that pipe, which we actually do want to go into. There she is. Run over that. Drop down in this pipe. Just coins in these two. blocks right there. Pop back up here. We need to make a floor above us. Well, right here, sure, but grab one of these blocks right here and then go down the pipe with it. We're going to use this to get rid of the spiny. Just walking back and forth here, and then run over here and then create a floor right here. So we can loop around going back this way, and then when we come down that pipe, we'll have a floor to walk on. And then we gotta make another floor right here. And now we have everything we need, so we'll just go through the route that we just created for ourselves. One up here on the right. And then take the bridge, and we're out. Save yourself a little time. That's the fastest way, most direct route to get out of there. Another star. So the item house down here is a special suit random pick. So we have a frog suit, Tanuki, or the hammer suit. Here's hoping for... Oh man, pulling a frog suit right there is almost enough to make me renounce the entire... Last one's a lock. I can't even remember the rhyme, so I think after saying it, or attempting to say it about 10 times, I think that's a good sign that maybe it's not worth it. But anyway, this fortress is a bit of a trip. Scrooge McDuck would love this fortress. If you're not sure why, there you go. Anyway, my recommended route is to hit that P switch, which will reveal the door, go through the door, take the pipe, and then consolation, we'll get our Tanuki suit nonetheless. We do get to fly through that massive coin room if we so wish. Float down here to the bottom left. I just can't resist it. This is not necessary, but it's just fun. Mario should have his Scrooge McDuck moment. We all should. Even though I can't always help but think it would just break your neck if you dove headfirst into a pile of money, a pile of coins. But anyway. Take that door there when you've had your fill, assuming there's still blocks, and go to the left and fly up here. Just to the left of that kind of plus sign on the wall. Be much darker DuckTales if Scrooge just snapped his neck, was paralyzed for the remainder. Alright, boom boom. Get some lift here. He can fly, we can fly better. Done. This next stage is completely optional. We're actually going to go through the pipe to the right beyond level 6, but if you don't have any P-Wings at this point, or if you just want one more, not a bad stop. I recommend having at least a Super Leaf, though, when you come in here. Maybe even use a star before you come here. As you can see, there's a lot going on, a lot of projectiles, a lot of plants. If you can get through, though, take this pipe down. And your reward is a P-Wing. Not too shabby in the least. Alright, so now we're going to head to 7-6, and this stage is pretty straightforward, so we got him, Ben? Have we got him back? Let's welcome back in one more time, Mario. Thanks for joining us once again, Mario.
Very good, but Professor Mario here you talk about the wizard, but here you talk about he's a Mario movie.
I feel like we acknowledged it earlier, and we talked. Sorry, are you trying to promote the Blu-ray release or something?
Oh no, Mario no need to promote anything. Everyone and their mother has seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie at least twice. No, I was wondering if I can ask you a question, Professor.
Oh, yeah, sure. Shoot, go ahead.
Well, Mario, here want to know what you think about his Super Mario movie. What you think, Professor?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Yeah, it was fun. But about Pipeland. So I
The
heard...
Mario movie has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. That means almost everyone in the whole world of their mama loved it. What's wrong with you, Professor? Are you stupid or something?
No, you just proved my point. I thought it was okay. I'm part of that 95%.
95% means that everybody loved it, Professor. What is wrong with you?
God, you're like my mom, Mario. No, that score means that 95% of people who saw it at least liked it. Some of them loved it, sure. Others thought the plot was pretty boring, but they enjoyed the Easter eggs and animation, so they'd give it a 3 out of 5. Still technically a positive review, which adds to that 95%.
Say something nice about a Mario's movie, or you never see him again.
Oh, I thought your acting has come a really long way since that screen test you did for 1993's Super Mario Bros. Movie.
What?
Oh, you remember? We tracked it down and showed it in our class on the first Super Mario Bros. I think we still have it. Ben?
Oh no, it's very bad. I'm falling. Oh, that's very bad. Oh, catch me, John Leguizamo. Oh, you missed, you bastard, John Leguizamo. Oh no, I'm falling. Oh, fuck, gosh, you better catch me this time. Oh, good job, John Leguizamo.
Good catch, huh, Mario? I should try out for the Yankees.
I'd high five you, but then you'd be an only child.
Yeah, so like that was awful. You've come such a long... Mario? Mario, everybody. Mario. This stage is another instance where you want to make sure you keep pace to get all the stars. Otherwise, if it wears off, you won't find a star in the next one. So just move as quickly as possible here. Shouldn't be too difficult since you'll have the star at this point. This one might be a little tricky to get, but if you can pick it up just in time. It's alright if the first one wears off as long as that star is coming out of the box when you hit it. That's how you get through that stage unscathed. And there it is. That might be the final triple star that we get. Very appropriate finishing card, considering the amount of stars we went through on that stage there. Might be the simplest theme in this game, but one of my favorites, the Pipeland theme. There's a couple secrets to be found here on 7-8. First, some coins in the sky, for what it's worth. Nothing but. When they hide something like that up there, you'd expect it to be something fancy, something special. The star in this leftmost block. The one up in this one here, there we go. And there's a hidden red music block right there, a note block. Go back up to the sky to get some more coins. And then if we drop straight down, if we go to the left, right back, it's the leftmost, that one right there, the left pipe. If you go in there, you can get yourself a hammer suit. I'm gonna rock the Tanuki a little bit longer. See how long we can hold on to it. It's just such a good look for Mario, I have to say. If he hadn't stormed off for the third or fourth time today, I would have told him that, but... And there goes the Tanuki suit. There's a good lesson right there as we threaten to lose our first life here. Yeah, you can't, those pedal enemies can't get them underneath like that. Whack of the tail will get it done, but... Anyway, another 1 in 3 chance of getting ourselves a Tanuki, or a hammer suit here, or a frog suit. We got a frog suit earlier. Let's see if our fortunes can change. Alright then. I'm turning my back on the third chest. Come a long way from me swearing by it, praising it, to absolutely changing my mind. Is what it is. Alright, this is a bit of a maze here. Note the fire flower that dropped out of that music note block. Yeah, we'll show you the fastest route to get through this little pipe maze here. It's like one of those mazes you'd find on the back of a cereal box or something. If we could pan out, we could find the route through here, but a lot of trial and error involved. But that's the fastest route. The only route, actually, come to think of it, for the most part. So even though 6, or Land 6, World 6 has 10 stages in it, I guess maybe Pipeland has a bit more stages overall, kind of sneakily, because we have, a couple fortresses, we have a couple of those random stages on top of that, so a lot going on here. Grab this star to give yourself a little breathing room, make some moves without worrying about some of these tricky jumps. Fire flower, very useful. It was for a moment here in the second fortress of World 7. And note, just being above one of the piranha plants will keep it from popping out. Kind of like standing next to the pipe. Same idea. The booze got us there. It's alright. We're through most of it at this point. Let's do a little sneaky slide here. Dry Bone's about to wake up, though. Yeah, that one's tough to do. If you come in at full speed and get that running duck, then you can generally squeeze right through, but you gotta time it up with the roto disc. Anyway, no worries about being small Mario when we're taking on a Boom Boom. Easiest boss in history when you just stick to that rhythm. The star works pretty well on this next piranha plant level, but the absence of a star, then let's just be silly and let's be a frog. We're gonna burn this in a couple seconds anyway. Just using it as a barrier at this point, yep, and it served its purpose. Bad timing, alright. This might be the first death right here. Use that Koopa as a makeshift note block right there. And then, what do we get for all that trouble? Just a run-of-the-mill super mushroom. Oh well. Alright, finally, after a very long stage, let's use that mushroom. Very appropriate that the king's been transformed into a piranha plant. Like that Toad still puts the crown on the piranha plant, I guess to maintain some sort of order in the kingdom. That's fair. One of the faster moving airships. Of course, it's all relative once we get to the final Dark Land. Definitely can't get this one all the way over unless you're using turbo. Just get it far enough from the start and then just be prepared to make a nice running jump to get the rest of the way. And note that those propellers, if you walk into them, those will do damage to you, so be careful around those. Not that you have any reason to beat down in that area, but just something to keep in mind. We can reverse these by hitting them underneath with jumps, and then use it to access that area. Oh well. We can still get up there and find another fire flower from the backside. Who designs these airships, by the way? Just random thought while we're doing this. Most of the pieces aren't connected. You kind of wonder how some of them are even being propelled. Not all of them have propellers on them. Like, what's going on with this piece right here? Just put that out far enough so that we can use it as a platform. The guy that designed this airship is related to the guy who makes Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins his armor. Makes just as much sense. Just be ready to make a quick jump here, otherwise you'll fall through that cylinder. And we've made it to the final Koopa kid, Gary.
Boss beaters.
Ludwig Von Koopa. Once again, he's got some weight to him. You want to make sure you're in the air when he lands. He does the double jump thing as well. But yeah, same strategy. Jump on his head. Go left or right, wherever you got more room. And yeah, just jump on his head. Get those hits in before he gets his shots off. 3 takes him down.
Good call, Gary. Thank you very much. So we return one final wand to one final king. You gotta cut off the head of the snake. That's the only way that we can be assured that Bowser won't try to overtake these lands again. Remember, there was an episode of the Super Mario Bros. 3 cartoon show, which, with all the facts we didn't even... Oh! Koopa with the bait and switch this time. By the way, we didn't mention this in the first 2.5 hours of the Super Mario Bros. 3 walkthrough, but this is clearly a classic example of the Rescue the Princess trope. Get that up on the board. There it is, right next to Battletoads. And Ghosts and Goblins. You can see we've been doing some very challenging games as of late. Some of our toughest classes yet in this stretch. Which, again, no disrespect to Mario, at least in that regard, but this is not one of the most challenging games on the NES. It does have its moments, particularly in these final 2 lands. Pipeland and Darkland, I would say, are the most challenging. The thing about Darkland, which we are on now, there's a lot of, obviously, moving parts here on this first tank level. A lot of things to dodge and avoid, but it's not the most difficult. If you want to use a P-Wing, if you have a nice stock, you can go ahead and burn one here. Just fly over the entire level. But when I was a kid, I was always a warp whistle guy because, you know, you play through the game a couple times and then eventually, you know, you don't have a whole 3+ hours to devote to this game. You can slide under here to grab if you're Big Mario at that point, to grab that leaf. So yeah, I would use the warp whistles quite a bit and got very well acquainted with Darkland. So in some ways, this is one of the more manageable lands for me if if you're like me and you warped a lot if you cheated a lot as a kid. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I know all of these levels particularly well, arguably better than anything outside of Grassland. Got some very tricky levels coming up. Always used a cloud on the fortress. Duck here. That is the big cannon. That's the sister ray. We have any Final Fantasy VII fans in class today. But that's it. Watch out for those cannonballs coming up as you're moving to the right there. And nothing but a Boomerang brother at the helm here. I guess at the helm, he's just sort of in this chamber. I don't know who's in charge, but took care of him. Burning through some more stuff here. Now, willing to bet that most of the class knows this secret, but we're gonna show it nonetheless because it's just one of my favorite hacks of any video game. If you want to go through that little barrage of cannonballs right there, you can grab the Fire Flower. If you're small Mario, it's a lot easier to evade the shots and get in there and get that mushroom and it comes out to you. But anyway, jump into the water here and then duck underneath the boat. Make sure you don't go so low that you drown, fall to the bottom off the screen and die. Just gotta make sure that you're low enough so that you don't get caught in the front of that boat. And just keep tapping that A button to swim. Absolutely love this hack. Thought I discovered gold the first time I gave this a shot. Just making all those rocky wrenches look foolish. Pop out, we can do it again. I have gotten caught once or twice on the front of that boat. You think you're down low enough. You know, you don't want to go so low that you end up losing a life anyway, so. Yeah, so much wasted artillery. As we pop out here, the only tricky part is getting out of the water. Here we go. Alright, we got a boom boom here, yeah. Boom boom on a boat, down he goes. Alright, we're moving into the hand trap section. Anyone else ever get scared when they were playing this as a kid? Anticipating one of the hands reaching out and grabbing Mario or Luigi? Just me? So there is a 50% chance for each of the three, and there we go. A 50-50 chance every time you step on one of the three squares that can trigger one of the hand traps, that a hand will reach out and take you to one of these mini levels right here, and we have a super leaf as the prize for getting through it. Just, they're all pretty straightforward, but with a 50-50 chance on each of these, that means you have a 12.5% chance of triggering none of the hands and getting through unscathed, or you have a 12.5% chance of getting grabbed by all the hands. So there you go. Math. And speaking of math, 2 is better than 1, and Fluff, why don't you tell us about the minigame we can only play with 2 players?
If you're playing this game with 2 players, there's a fun Easter egg which can be unlocked in the form of a fully playable and more fleshed out version of the Mario Bros. Arcade game, which was released 5 years earlier in 1983. To access this game, simply access the square the other player is on like a level, and you'll both be transported into a battle-type game where the objective is to collect 3 out of 5 coins or outlive your opponent as various enemies appear from the pipes. There are even additional bonus games which trigger less frequently, and a fixed cycle which involve collecting more coins than your opponent as they shoot out of a pipe, are hidden in boxes, or are found bouncing around the screen. The winner of this game within the game gets their turn next in Mario 3 regardless of whose turn it was meant to be. You can even steal the end stage cards the other players collected to that point by hitting them from beneath like an enemy and grabbing their loose card as it bounces free. You can earn 1-ups with 3 cards just like you would had you completed a stage. All told, this mini-game was a great way to needlessly create tension between friends or siblings in an otherwise friendly co-op game where the goal is to work together to beat the game.
Thanks, Fluff. Yeah, I love that they included that, but how about that? What'd I say? 12.5% chance of hitting all those, and that's exactly what happened. This is the one stage in the game where I absolutely recommend using a P-Wing. There's another one coming up where it helps, but this one, yeah, the ships are moving a little quickly. Got wrenches hanging around a little bit too long. Flames to avoid. Definitely don't try this stage without, at the very least, a raccoon tail. Certainly possible, but it's just when the screen is scrolling this quickly. Alright, well, I'll get to show you how this is possible at this point. Some of these jumps, you absolutely need to make sure that you're running to make your connections. Thread those needles. Wait on this jump right here. Whether or not you have the... Careful not to slide into that rocky wrench there. There you go. Not the most difficult, but certainly one of the more challenging levels in this game, without a doubt. This stretch of dark land, true to its name, very dark. Thankfully, Mario thought to bring a light, apparently. I recommend having the ability for flight in this stage. Doesn't have to be Tanuki. By the way, if you go straight up, there is a switch, which triggers a whole mess of coins right down here. Pretty fantastic. Didn't go. That would have been a bad death. Bad first death. I'm unforced error, but yeah, just build up that runway speed right there and drop in this pipe. Grab ourselves some one-ups. Interestingly, went through the box right there. And slide down. Some tricky platforming coming up ahead. You'll be grateful for the ability to stagger your drop with that tail. Gotta use that Koopa Troopa shell for a boost. Make sure you have that A button tapped at just the right time. You can use the bullet bill or you can use the note. It's whatever you feel more comfortable with. That is a very difficult jump to make without the raccoon tail, but you get to avoid decent chunk of the difficult platforming of that stage by taking that pipe, the 3 1-up shortcut that we used. This is a fun one, the return of the angry sun, but we're gonna get sucked down into this sand pit right here. Go to the left here and we can grab a super leaf. We're just gonna head to the right here. Grab ourselves some coins. I'm gonna go back and get the rest. Let's build up some speed and start flying again. Saying things we both already know at this point. I would hope by the final land of this Mario 3 walkthrough. Tricky slope here. Alright, build up some speed here, and definitely going to want to fly if you have the tail to avoid a lot of the obstacles. Make this stage a whole heck of a lot easier. Avoid a tricky jump with a couple note blocks just by flying over that massive gap that we didn't even see. And now we go to the trickiest fortress in this game. I mean, not really, not if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, you could be stuck in here for a very long time. Here's the route I suggest. Don't recommend picking up something that takes away the ability of flight. Or floating down, better said. Very useful for these lava pits and avoiding the fireballs that pop out. Just run across that little gap there. Mine turned off for a second as I was explaining that. Did not mean to get rid of the Tanuki. Time this up, wait for that flame to drop back down, and flap over to the right here. And if you have a tail, you can just bash your way through this wall. With the star, it's, yeah, when you're jumping, makes it more difficult, but we're gonna go all the way to the right and then drop down here to hit a P switch. And then we're gonna go all the way to the right, ignoring this one that appears. It's a false door. Just a little decoy, and then just wait for that P switch to disengage, and the conveyor belt will start up again and take us to what I believe is the penultimate Boom Boom. Second to last Boom Boom, and one of the trickier ones because we're dealing with him on a conveyor belt, but still not that tricky. Down he goes. Go to the left here through the pipe. All the other pipes just act as shortcuts for when the locks have come down. This is the final level before Bowser's Castle. This is where the majority of the budget of Bowser's land that he rules over here. This is where most of the tax money goes, that's what I'm trying to say. Lots of artillery, lots of cannons, whole lot of guns, and some wrenches. Someone needs to maintain these hundreds and hundreds of tanks, or pieces of tanks, after all. Still not too difficult here, though. These ones don't respawn, thankfully. Most of the rocky wrenches that we fought on the airships earlier did, but not the tank ones. Bowser's finally running low on troops, even after the draft. Really getting into the specifics of Bowser's operation here. Taxation, conscription. Anyway. You just thread the needle, duck when you need to duck, and this should take us to our final boom boom of this game. Maybe this will be the one that finally gets a hit on us? No. Oh well. Alright, on to Koopa's castle. Bowser's castle. Koopa, Bowser? What is the difference, actually? Can we get Fluff back in here while we do a massive items burn? Fluff, what's the difference between Bowser and Koopa? Is it just regions? I mean, why both?
The reason why is because in Japan, Bowser is named Koopa, while the Koopa Troopa enemies are named Nako Nako. In English, having both Koopa, as in the king of the Koopas, and Koopa, the turtle-like baddie, would be confusing.
Yes, I suppose it would. Thank you very much, Fluff. Guess we're stuck with that hammer. Should have used it earlier if we wanted to get rid of it. Squeeze a cloud on Bowser's castle. Just breeze right by it, take the princess with us. As I said, we're having our say anything moment, just burning all these music boxes outside of Bowser's castle. We just run straight through at full speed to avoid those beams. Take this elevator up right here. And what with the hammer suit to attempt to fulfill a dream? Maybe too grandiose a term. Something I've always wanted to do and never done. Never attempted taking down Bowser with the hammer suit. I recommend staying to the left here. Watch out for that one particular flame that pops out. It only goes so high. We can jump over it here. Go all the way up, and when you're hitting the ceiling, then go to the right and drop down to this second from the top. Ride that down. Actually, we can get rid of the thwomp with one of these hammers. But yeah, just wait for him to back up. As he's backing up, hit the spaghetti-o, as I call it, and ride it down. And hopefully we can hang on to this. The only beam that fires there. Definitely not trying to pick that up right now. And now we have some flames. We just want to trigger these ahead of time, basically. Just gotta come out a little bit. Sometimes we don't always have room to react to it, so you just have to be ready to make that jump again. But some of these you can tease, like that one right there. Cheat it out. And it is time for Bowser with hammers. 1, 2. I think this works. 3, 4, 5. Alright. I'm just playing though. We're gonna bring in Gary now for a genuine boss beater. Gary, take us home.
Boss beater. Alright, Bowser, pretty basic strategy. You want to lure him to the leftmost bricks, the ones that are above the pit, mind you, as we show. Jump to the center of the room at the last second. Go to the rightmost bricks like we show, and repeat. We're basically just trying to get that pit on the left side. Avoid his fireballs. If you do the pitfall, that'll kill him, obviously. 5 hammers will kill him, or 35 fireballs win the day.
Alright, thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, this is from a kind of more of a speed run, just using the warp whistles to get to this point. It's the 100,000 points and 6 lives. And there you go, just like that. And I'm told, Fluff, you have one more fact about Bowser here?
Just to add to what Gary said, Professor, there's a way to neuter Bowser's flame-throwing ability if you have a P-Wing. Reach Bowser's lair with a P-Wing, and hug the left wall and fly to the top before you trigger Bowser. drop off the wall at the left side and drop down, sticking to the right for the most part, to find yourself back in Bowser's lair. You'll drop down, take a deep breath, and nada. Suck on that, Bowser. That's right, we cheat.
Yes, for educational purposes only, just to display that right there.
Professor, can I share my strategy?
You got one for Bowser too, Blaze?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Alright, so ironically, my strategy does not involve items. In fact, it's probably better if you're small Mario. The reason being is that the lower half of Bowser cannot hurt you. So if he lands on you while you're ducked or small Mario, he'll do 0 damage. The benefit of being small Mario is you can still move around and avoid his fireballs, but for the most part you don't even have to move with this strategy as we show. Just let Bowser keep jumping between the same 2 tiles on the floor. Eventually he'll jump through. The only time you need to move is when he's coming down for that final jump. But there you go, an easy way to take down Bowser without a single item.
Good call, Blaze. Thank you. There you go. We've given you 4 different ways to take down Bowser as we head back to the original, the true timeline here. It's like the multiverse, the Mario-verse, just multiple timelines all into... Wait, what did we do with the hammer suit, by the way? Just ditch that in the hallway, I guess? Princess not into that look, I guess? As we rescue the princess, we showed you the trope list already. One last nice little nod to the original Super Mario Bros. Here. She thanks us, but our princess in another castle. There are no more castles. We went through the entire world. Although I do appreciate your reference there, princess. Bye-bye. She's like, you weren't going to hang around, were you? I have things to do now that I'm free. They don't really involve you, Mario. One last fact to mention, if you restart the game after this, check your inventory, you'll find 28 P-Wings waiting for you, so we actually use that in the Fluff timeline to show you how to kind of de-fang Bowser, de-fire breath Bowser, however you want to call that. Snuff out his flames, but anyway, there you go, Super Mario Bros. 3, 8 worlds. Every secret revealed in this one Super Mario Bros. 3 walkthrough. Thank you so much for attending this class, everyone. I'm pretty satisfied with this one. Got to play one of the classics. Mario told me my ska cover of his theme was garbage. And we even got to show that awful screen test that Mario did years ago once again. All in all, this was a pretty good class. Speaking of which, we do one of these classes every single week in the same spot. If you haven't already done so, please click that subscribe button to enroll in this class. We really do appreciate it. Click that like button if you don't mind as well. It really does help us out to make future classes for you. And leave a comment. What does this game mean to you? Did you play it growing up? Did you play it later? Did we show you anything today maybe you didn't know about? Even if we didn't show you anything new, if you know this game inside and out, we hope you still had a great time, maybe made you laugh once or twice. We'll gladly take that. But that's our time. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class, right here on Video Games 101. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.